Lundus 1, back with another episode of Lundus Instructs Us. I'm here today to talk about AConArtist, and particularly his control, we could say, over the legislative branch of our democracy. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in again. Again, my name is Lundus 1, host of this podcast. Thank you so much for watching. So I think we should literally just get into it. Coming out of this podcast, when you finish listening, I want you to get a clear idea of what ACon has been doing, not only to the legislative branch of this nation, but to the executive branch of this nation. I believe that what ACon has been doing is not fair, it is not just, and it is completely illegal. So, I named this episode ACon's Ever-Tightening Grip for a reason. ACon's grip on everything has been tightening. And it all has to do with the Senate. Let's get into it. So, the Senate. Currently, there is this unspoken rule established by Bayan Filipino that the President of the United States can just willy-nilly elect anyone to the Senate that they want for the moment. Like, nominate anyone they choose because there are certain vacancies in the Senate. This is something that's not only illegal, but completely immoral, and I'll explain why. So, firstly, starting off, it's common logic that everyone in power wants to have a majority so that they can get what they want done passed quickly. However, the way that AConArtist has been doing this is not fair. Currently, AConArtist has nominated 8 different people to Senate, all of which have been nominated under constitutionalists, except for 2. I will say that the 2 that were nominated, of course, Michael Smith and Parker Jackson, were nominated only because of their wide social media presence, and they both, of course, registered as Federalists because they are not puppets to Mr. AConArtist. But everyone else was, put in power under the Constitutionalist Party, and not only is this unfair to the American people, because if you look at the past, just the Senate election we had just a few weeks ago showed that only one Constitutionalist was elected, and that the rest were either Federalists or Independents. This is not something that we should have in this nation. This is a borderline violation of democracy. If you need proof, look no further than the impeachment. I like to talk about the impeachment for a little bit here as well. I proposed, actually, to the House of Representatives a complete list of all of the crimes that AConArtist had committed on LA and on Discord, all of which were approved by my Federalist caucus, and we launched a very effective anti-ACon campaign. And I know this may seem like defying the whole purpose of bipartisanship, in that we just wanted to get rid of a guy that was in office for under a day. But the fact of the matter is, the American people want to elect someone. They are very smart. The American people are incredibly intelligent, and they want to elect someone that represents them. They saw AConArtist as a trustworthy guy with, the support of Technozo, with the support of, the Technozo, of course, being a great leader, NUSA, one of our greatest presidents, and, of course, with the support of Mitch Matrix, again, a very prominent figure, and the Bacon Hair Foundation, which on its surface looked like a truly charitable donation. I'd like to fight that, of course, but I won't get into that today. Tomorrow I'll be focusing more on ACon's grip on the executive branch. So this may be a part 1 to the same ACon's Ever-Tightening Grip. So today we'll be talking about the legislative branch, like I've already been discussing. So after the House of Representatives, we proposed the bills of impeachment of both AConArtist and Mitch Matrix because of previous crimes. The House unanimously, no nays, were voted against the bills of impeachment. We got the entire 2 of the Republican senators or representatives to vote with us. We got the Democratic senator or representative to vote with us. We got the Independent representative to vote with us, and we even got all of the Federalists to vote, to impeach AConArtist. So we could very much see that this was a bipartisan effort. Everyone saw the proof, and that everyone wanted him removed. However, once the bills went into his completely puppet regime government Senate, where he's just nominated everyone, it failed. Not only did it fail, they did an illegal move where they, out of thin air, snapped their fingers and said, oh yeah, we have the power to just completely dismiss this motion altogether, which is not something that is possible in an impeachment. But however, it happened like that, and no one raised a fuss. So ACon just sneaked away. His whole, legal loophole paid off for him. If you want more proof of ACon's domination of the legislative branch, look no further than Losermind, a man who ran for Senate back in the Senate Class 1 election, I believe, and he lost. Granted, he was running as a constitutionalist, of course, and that's another thing I want to bring up is that, you look at the record in the last election. I think I just mentioned this, that, everyone wants to elect the Federalists. Everyone wants to elect independents that have good views. People are, not... There was only about, I think, one constitutionalist got elected and in the Senate. And this is something that I think ACon has noticed, and he just does not care. It's that the American people are not constitutionalists. The overwhelming majority have to be either Federalist or independent. The thing is that AConArtist is deliberately making this, the Senate his personal safe haven, is that he cannot be impeached. He will never be put under any sort of criminal trial, never, because he has this strong majority in the Senate that will dismiss everything. Now, once this, back to Losermind, once Losermind, lost, he went to ACon, he cried for help, and ACon said, yeah, I'll put you in if you stay constitutionalist. He said, okay. Once Losermind said, no, I don't want to be constitutionalist anymore, he switched. He switched to Federalist, and he realized that he wasn't going to be a puppet of AConArtist, and ACon didn't like this one bit. He pretty much forced them to resign, with I believe promising him a job in the cabinet and never delivering. So the real problem with AConArtist right now is that he is setting up, in my mind, a dictatorship. He is laying the foundations for a executive branch that not only complies to everything he says, but does his dirty work. He's setting up a judiciary system in which everything that he wants to, get passed can get passed if it comes to the judiciary branch. He's setting up a judiciary branch which can completely, exclude him from any sort of trial, any sort of criminal offense. He's setting up a legislative branch that will completely either vote aye or vote nay on any bill that he wants to get passed. So, in essence, this sort of power that he's been granted as president is turning into a dictatorship, a dictatorial president, not unlike, what Benito Mussolini did in real life. So, with all that being said, I want to discuss one more thing tonight, and then we'll head off, and that is the Republican Party. And this is something that's sort of hits close to home for me. I originally registered with the Republican Party, back when I was running for House of Representatives, because they were a party that shared my values, and I was friends with attorney Sherman at the time. Not only in the months following did I realize attorney was nothing but a crook who lied about his achievements, but a narcissist in which he piggybacked off the works of William P. Nixon, myself, Sheev Palpatine, Armand Foley, so many other names, Egg Boiler 2K, all of these people that worked hard for the Republican Party, and that made the Republican Party into what it was. He was the one taking all the credit. He even got Time Person of the Year, I think. So this is, he was very much corrupt. And if you want more proof, I can even show you some DMs of his with me. He offered me the position of Speaker of the House 3 times, 3 different times, if I could re-caucus as Republican, and I could get everyone else to re-caucus as Republican, and with the Federalists. Of course, these attempts did not work. We as Federalists wanted to, distance ourselves from the Republican Party. So, seeing as there was no other option for him, he just, AConArtist just kind of came in. I don't know what happened, and he pretty much, puppeted the Republican Party. Again, right now, if I could use one word, or if I could use 2 words to describe, what's going on in the White House and what's going on in Congress right now, is a puppet show. It's just the marionette all the marionettes, all of the constitutionalist senators, and all the constitutionalists with one puppeteer, and that is AConArtist. Again, the Republican Party is now under direct control of the constitutionalists, even though they claim to be literally their own party. This is something not unlike not unlike Emperor Hirohito in Japan with Manchukuo, and can't. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. The Constitutionalist Party could be representative as the Empire of Japan, and the Republicans are just Manchukuo. There's this state that says it's independent, but is de facto run by Japan. Another thing I want to bring up, that is, again, the judiciary system. Right now, there's nothing currently going on in the judiciary branch that is, in support of ACon, but he has nominated some very, 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 key, supporters of his. But we'll mention that later. One last thing I want to talk about before we get off is that today, or actually yesterday, if you're seeing this on the 3rd of April, the Senate had its session in which it got a lot done. And I'm looking right now actually at the bills it passed, a lot of which were nominations and a lot of which were constitutionalist agendaed bills. So let's look through them here. The 3 nominations that they passed were Adremicus for Secretary of Treasury. I'm actually not familiar with that name. However, the next one, Squid TV CEO, I know who he is. He's a great guy. I'm glad they actually passed that. Interesting. And Eric S. Alsvinder for Chief Staff of Army. I guess he's replacing Carl L. Schultz, which is unfortunate. I believe that he has left now, which is, I tend to support Armand Foley, but this is one thing I can't really support him on, is him running Carl Schultz out of the nation. He was a great guy, and I'm sad to see him go. However, I'm sure that Eric Alsvinder is a perfect replacement. So, not really much to talk about on the executive nominations. I'm actually surprised he didn't nominate fucking Centaur Exelis, but, and he will take anything at this point. So let's move on to legislation that has been passed in the Senate. Yesterday, S.9 Immigration Courts Establishment Act of 2022 was passed. Again, that was actually, I remember, that was a very popular bill, as well as the Electoral Background Check Act. Actually, these are very bipartisan bills. I'm glad that the Senate right now is passing these. I think I talked to a few of the senators that are in the Federalist Party in the Senate, and they said they all supported this. The LUV Act failed. The National Security Act of 20 passed, and the Old Glory Days Act failed. And this is the one thing I wanted to mention, actually, was this last act here, H.R2, Presidential Line of Succession Act. Now, this is an act that I voted on. I voted aye for, and this establishes the presidential line of succession. It's pretty much exactly the same as it is in real life. It's that if the president is either removed from office or dies, is somehow unable to serve, the vice president steps in. If the vice president is unable to serve or does not nominate a vice president in his place, then it moves to the Speaker of the House. If the Speaker of the House is unable to serve, then it goes to the, I believe, the cabinet. I think Secretary of State, possibly. And then it keeps going down the list of cabinet members. And I believe that was exactly what H.R.2 is. However, the Senate voted to amend it. And instead of having the Speaker of the House become the next in line after the Vice President, they amended it so that the President pro tempore is next in line. And now this is something that, again, we are seeing a constitutionalist lust for power. I support the current President pro tempore. I do like JS, whatever the heck his name is. But I cannot support this bill. That this bill is very clearly showing that the constitutionalists do not want Armand Foley in office, and that they will stop at nothing to make sure that they're again that Acon's puppets get into all positions of power in the case of his absence. So pretty much now Armand Foley was pretty much the only one in the line of succession that wasn't a constitutionalist. Now the whole line of succession would be constitutionalist. However, fortunately for the American people, I believe the House will vote on this, and of course, we won't pass this something as absurd as this, literally amending a real-life bill that is in real life bipartisan. But with that, we've run over our time. I don't really want these to be more than 15 minutes long, and I'm sorry, actually. I want to thank everyone for your support on the first episode. Again, I know it was a bit rushed and it was a bit, all over the place, but, we had a lot of ground to cover in the 4 months that this has been a nation. So with that, I will leave you with that, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. I may even do another episode tonight, but I make this promise to you that next episode we will have guests on. So again, I thank you very much for watching. God bless you. I'll see you later.